So while I'm out here, I might as well talk to myself a little bit and have people think I'm crazy. So I am in Sundsvall, 3+ hours by train north of Stockholm, Sweden, on the east coast of Sweden on the Baltic Sea. And right now I'm paddling in the middle of the city, and I am going to head out into the inner archipelago here. But anyway, I am here as part of my Paddling in 100 Cities project. It's a cold water kayaking day, and this is my 51st location in the Paddling in 100 Cities project. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what the project is, but I'd also talk about very cool places that I have seen and experienced through this project, and what I've learned or experienced during those paddles. So in a nutshell, the Paddling in 100 Cities project is what it sounds like. It's a way for me. It's a personal project. It's a way for me to get out and paddle and explore, not just where I live or close by, but actually all around the world, in different countries and also in different places in Sweden that I might never have seen from the water. So until today, I was at 50 cities or 50 locations paddled in the project. This is the 51st, and I've had some amazing experiences. So I thought I would show and talk about some of these in this video, and because it's just my experiences and it might not be as interesting for others, I'm just going to introduce it also as an opportunity to discuss and showcase different things you can do while kayaking, different things you might see, different things that you might experience. And of course, the more locations that you paddle in, the more unexpected stuff you see, the more epic sights you experience, and the more beautiful views you have the privilege to paddle towards on the horizon or whatever it is. So what has been the most memorable of each of these trips? Well, I thought actually I would talk about my trips, and I'll, instead of going through them in chronological order, which is a bit boring, I'll talk about them as they pop into my head as being interesting in different ways. And one of the most exotic paddles I've had, a couple of paddling trips actually, but the most exotic location was actually in Africa. This is the furthest away that I've been with my kayak. I believe it was about 6,500 kilometers by plane each way, transiting through Ethiopia and then heading to Djibouti on the east side of Africa, by the Gulf of Aden. And that was that was quite a thing to do. I was there not just to go paddling, I was there as part of a really nice weekend, or well, more days. I was there for a really cool travel trip with friends, and I talked to the guys ahead of this and said, is anyone interested in paddling while we're out there by the beach on seawater? And people said yes, and of course I couldn't resist bringing a kayak. So I brought a tandem inflatable kayak, the A2 X100 Plus, and I I remember that because, I mean, first of all, you have really warm water. It's scorching hot in the air, and it was really shallow actually. So when the tide was low, one of us had to actually walk and push the kayak out for quite a while before you could get out onto water that was free to paddle, so to speak. But once there, we saw sea turtles all around the kayak. There was a ray at one point, a large ray that swam directly underneath the kayak, which was pretty cool. And then in the distance, I actually spotted, and later my friend, who didn't believe me at first, also spotted a number of what looked like seals. But you know, there aren't supposed to be seals for thousands of kilometers. However, I talked to a marine biologist who works in the area, and actually there was a seal that showed up in the harbor of the city near there just less than a week before that. So it's quite possible that we saw a number of seals or sea lions in Djibouti, Africa. Anyway, that was a warm but really nice paddle with a bit of waves here and there as well, but always staying at a safe distance to land. So that was a memorable trip. I also took a very lightweight kayak to Spain some years ago, and I went paddling in Barcelona. First I paddled in a local park. Simply, this is a very lightweight kayak. It's not made for paddling any long distances, so I actually paddled just in a local park there, just for fun, because I had never done something like that. And I actually inflated the kayak in my hotel room and carried it because it just weighs 4 pounds, 1.8 kilograms, and it was easy to carry it on the street to the park. I figured people would look at me like I was crazy, but this is Barcelona. They are probably used to a lot of stuff. So I got some nice short paddling in there, just to technically have paddled there also by kayak. I met my friend Ricardo, who works in the ambulance services and was working there at the time. And then I actually went by train to Girona, a bit further away from there. And that is a beautiful city. The first time I saw a photo from the river in Girona, I knew that I wanted to paddle there. I knew that I had to see this from the water, because what you can see there from the river is all of these balconies in different colors, and it's quite a sight. The balconies are hanging over the water, over the river. You have these bridges that are often unique in different ways, and it's quite something, simply put. So I really enjoyed that, and because it was actually tough to find a way down into the river and the water levels were low, it was unexpected, and all in all, the people I talked to had never seen anybody kayaking there, because it's just a short stretch of some kilometers before you hit, you know, a vertical elevation difference which prohibits you from paddling onwards, and I guess you can't really paddle behind from where I started either. So anyway, what I was doing was something that they definitely didn't see every day there, if ever. So I had a lot of people cheering me on from land, and in this case there were these high walls, so they were quite high up and looking down at me, and people were cheering me on. And then I had a really nice conversation with a couple who were standing on a balcony, a nice elderly couple, and looking down at me. And I think they were talking to me in Catalan, which I don't speak, which is the regional dialect, and I was talking back in Castellano, which is standard Spanish, if you will. So it worked. I kind of understood what they were saying by some word recognition, and they understood me, and we had a good time. But I suppose at first they thought I was a local, which clearly I was not. Anyway, that was a lot of fun, and that location, yeah, I knew the first time I saw the photo that I wanted to see that place, and it was well worth it. Now the same lightweight kayak I've taken to Lithuania, and that was a fantastic trip, I must say. I went on the river Vilnia in central Vilnius, a little bit of moving water there, and paddling past the castle or fortress in the center of the city, and then out on the larger river Neris. And the thing is, because this was, I think it was in early October, nobody was on the water. The tourist boats were perhaps no longer active, or at least not at that moment. I was the only person on the entire river, and I had been in Vilnius 20 years before that. Well, it was a fantastic way to rediscover the city from the water. I got some surprised looks from all of the bikers and scooter users on land, and a lot of smiles and waves as I paddled through a park there. But all in all, it was really nice, and because I was going with the river on both rivers, so to speak, I got some extra speed. So even with my small very slow kayak, I still got a good speed to the paddle, and that was a memorable trip. Now I had to hurry a bit, so I couldn't paddle that far, because I also wanted to paddle a bit in Kaunas before I traveled back to Sweden by plane from Kaunas. So I arrived in the evening there and managed to get my kayak in the water before or during sunset, or maybe just after. In all cases, I got to see the sunset, and I got to paddle in the dark, more or less, but close to land, and a brief paddle, but still a bit of paddling in Kaunas. And that skyline was well worth it as well. There's a small fortress there as well, which was interesting to see, and I had visited that as well 20 years ago. Now I also before that had the opportunity for the first time to paddle or visit around the area and on the actual small island which houses Trakai Castle. So that's an island castle, and I must say that was nice. It's a really old castle as well, well preserved and with a lot of history. And with my tiny lightweight kayak, I decided not even to leave it anywhere. I just packed it up and carried it with me even inside the castle. as I had a 4-piece paddle, it was easy to just pack down, and it was a really nice adventure. First time I've had my kayak walking around inside a medieval castle. There were a lot of stairs and a lot to see, so that was quite something. So yeah, that was 3 cities in Lithuania. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe in order to stay updated on new videos and help others find information on this channel. Happy paddles!